Hi guys, a tattooed disabled quilter here, and we are working on quilt number 1 of 4 from the 40 fat quarters we cut up last night. And we are going to learn to piece the large diamond. These, I'll tell you the cuts in a second that we were doing. This is a rare opportunity here. My husband and my son brought in stuff, so I have a table, my juki, a miniature little pressing board, my iron, all my pieces I need, a cutting mat and some rulers just in case, but it's all in my room. This is my bedroom. In my house where there's an AC vent on me. There's no littles here today, so since there's no little kids, I was able to come inside and work in the house, in the air conditioning, and then I'll just fold it all up and move it out of the way when they're back tomorrow. So I just need to make sure that I got this on correctly. Okay, so recap. For the fat quarters, we used 40 of them, and 18 by 21 or 18 by 22, depending on where you buy your fat quarters. I chopped them up into 4 2.5 strips in the lengthwise, and then a 5-inch strip for quilt number 2, and then another 2.5-inch strip for quilt number 4. Quilt number 1 is diamonds, so we are going to subcut those 4 first 2.5-inch strips into 2.5-inch 45-degree angle diamonds. The 2 first strips will be cut 2.5 into 45-degree diamonds, lining them up on your diamonds, or on your 45-degree line on your mat, correct. So this piece will go here, and this piece will go here. So when it's not together, it doesn't look right. But that's just because of our seam allowance. I'm going to finger press, and I will show you how this works. So we're working on my Juki TL2010Q. It's a very heavy machine. Usually it's on the frame, so it makes it in the arm. This is typically my quilting machine for quilting only, and then I piece with my brother, which is in the garage, but that's a hassle to move out of the way and stuff. So I just put my extension table on, brought it in here, and this is what we're going to work with. Don't mind the sound in the background. That's the TV on. It's just to keep it from being too dull in here because there's other people in the house, and yeah, they can hear everything I'm doing. So diamonds are a little tricky to piece. For those of you who have never pieced diamonds, diamonds are slightly tricky. I absolutely love working with diamonds. I don't know why. The look of it when it comes out, I love making Lone Star quilts and diamonds. So putting them together though for a beginner is a little bit more tricky. This is a little bit more of an intermediate piecing. For those of you who are beginners though, you can follow along, and I will show you as best as I could possibly explain it how to put these together. So we're going to take the first 2 pieces. We are backwards from each other right now, which you're looking at me, and we are going to put them, see how it's sitting like this? Let's move these out of the way temporarily. We are going to lay this right sides together, so it's going to look funny. And I'm going to slide it, since this is white, you kind of can't tell, but I'm going to slide this to where I have, let me unplug my iron real quick because it's smelling. It's not used to being in the house. Plug it in as I need it, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to hook this on here to where I have a 1/4 inch between here and on this side. So when I line this up at my needle, that 1/4 inch is going to line up right here. With diamonds, this is how we do it. They do have some templates that pre-cut those little tips off for you, so all you do is line up the tip, and it will already be there, but this is how we do it. So line it up, and it should, if my needle was down, that line should exactly meet up with my 1/4 inch. And then a 1/4 inch on the other side. And just run it through. Now my machine bounces around in here like a whole heck of a lot. And then this is on the bias, so you got to remember when you're finger pressing, finger press to the dark And just do it very carefully, ever so carefully. I'm just using my fingers and pushing it as far back as possible. And see, it aligns perfect, straight. See how perfect that comes out? Nice and level. So let's do this again. And I'm just going to repeat myself over and over again. So now here's the bottom one. The bottom one comes up over it like this. And you want your 1/4 of an inch on each side. I'm really good at eyeballing it because I have done diamonds for a long time. I love diamonds. But some people might not be able to. And that's okay. You can always lay it at the machine. And when you get to that needle mark on your 1/4 inch, just adjust it. You know, like that's how you know you have it right there at the tip where it's supposed to be. Second part about this fold-up table where my machine is right now is that it bounces so bad. That's the only bad thing about being in here with the table. And I have a fan on me. It's like amazing. I feel so much better than being out in the garage. Okay, so now we have those 2 pieces, and iron's probably still warm. To press it down real quick. Nice and flat. The only thing I hate about this ironing board is it really, really sucks. So now we have this nice and flat. Now, some of you might want to cut the little dog ears off. I usually don't bother with those. I just take and align my next piece on here, and then since they're cut exact, they should fit perfectly. Again, when you lay the big one on, it goes over 1/4 of an inch at the top, and 1/4 of an inch will stick out at the bottom. Just like that. And I come over to the machine, lay it down on there. And I have a guide on here so it picks up those little dog ears and moves them out of the way for me. I usually don't like using the cutter on my machine either. It actually ruins it faster. It's only on there for convenience. A lot of people use their cutters. I'm going to just finger press that out of the way. And we're going to put the next piece on. Again, line it up. See how it's going to be perfect? But when you fold it over, it's going to come up 1/4 of an inch. And 1/4 of an inch at the bottom. We're just going to slide it over. It out very carefully though, because remember, your smaller diamonds are on the bias. This longer is sort of stretchy, but it's not on the bias. It's on the length of the straight grain. But anything that's on the 45-degree angle is not. So that means the whole entire diamond is stretchy, no matter which way you move it. So just be very careful with those. And then I just place that right here. We'll plug the iron back in for a second. We'll just keep an eye on it. And that would be a finished diamond. And again, when you're finished pressing, you can cut off the dog ears if you would like. Just take a little pair of scissors, cut it straight off. I'm not going to bother for now. I like them on during the piecing. And I just lay it nice and flat on my board. My quilt is going to be black, white, and gray. And if you would have wanted, you could have changed all this up. So there's another block done. So now I have 4 made. Of course, you didn't see me make the first 3. So let's make another one. Lay that out of the way. Let's work with a white. I have a big, huge pile right here. There should be like 90 something pieces. Well, more than 90. Enough to make 90 blocks, I think. So let's do this again. This like this. That. Like that. We're going to do black in this one. That is going to look really cute. So I just lay it over here out of the way. We're going to move these 2 out of the way temporarily. And again, take your first triangle, right sides together, leaving 1/4 inch. Line it up just right. There's my 1/4 inch. Slide it under the machine. Should come right at the needle. Oops. Got messed up bringing it over. I brought pins in just in case, but I typically don't pin unless I absolutely have to. And we're going to press this to the dark, so this one's actually going to be pressed differently so that I can press it to the dark. And remember, this is all biased, so be careful with your finger pressing. And line the next one up. Put it on there. Make sure you got your 1/4 inch on each side, the top and the bottom. You'll know when you get to your needle if you're 1/4 inch. And we're going to press this to the dark, so I'm going to pull it this way. And since this one's being pressed opposite, we're just going to press it real quick with the iron. Make sure it's nice and flat. And we're going to bring our next 2 pieces back and make sure that we have them exact. And look at that. I cut them all perfectly. So these are 2.5 inch 45-degree angles, and these are 6.5 inch parallelograms on the 45-degree angle. So again, right sides together, make sure you have 1/4 inch, that little tip, this little tip, you need 1/4 inch, okay? Just lay it on there just right, and both sides should have 1/4 inch sticking out. Bring it over to the machine. It should line up with the needle just right, and you just sew down it. Don't pull, stretch, or move in any way, and it should be just fine. And I'm not going to worry about this one, we'll just press this out. It was that really dark black in the middle that I wanted. And then we're going to come to this one. So we'll just turn it around. 1/4 inch on the top and on the bottom. Slide that one up just a little. Slide it under the needle. Start stitching. And I don't typically take back stitches unless I'm working with really small pieces or really, really, really large pieces. And then we'll just finger press this back. I'm giving it a quick finger press to make sure that the seam is going one way, the way I want it. That way when I do lay it on the ironing board, all I have to do is run the iron over it real quickly and it should flatten out just right. And there we go. Number 2. Look at that. And you can see when you're pressing just right, everything comes out just amazing. Nice and flat. It's going to stay nice and flat, and I did not starch it. Usually I would starch the material, but I did not starch it. It just comes out nice and flat. So let's go to a color we can use gray with. Here we go. This has got some gray in it. So let's do this again. This. like this. Look at something real quick. Oh yeah, they're all the same. And then we use a gray with this one. Ooh, look at that. See, so some of them I can use gray and some of them I can use white and mix up the colors. Let's do a few pieces and then I'll lay it down. I'll move this out of the way and we'll lay some out so you can see exactly how we're doing this. And then I will repeat the same video again for those of you who want to keep seeing as we go and build the quilt, because when we get to bigger parts of it, it's going to change to the pieces that we're going to have to cut a few pieces from yardage for some of it. So again, here we go. Right sides together, a 1/4 inch triangle at the top and a 1/4 inch triangle at the bottom is what you're going to see. Just lay it down nice and flat. Try not to move your pieces too much. Finger press to the dark. On all of, if you're using blacks, whites, and grays like I am, then I would suggest always making sure you're finger pressing to the dark. Again, you can go this way, just like this. Turn it. You got a 1/4 inch on each side. Don't move your piece at all. Just slide it right over. Finger press it to the dark. Be careful because it's on the bias. For those of you who don't know, the bias is the stretchy part of the material and the straight grain is the not so stretchy part of the material. So it would be straight grain is the weave going one way, and the bias is when you're cutting against that weave in a diagonal and or side to side, which takes the weave away. Normally I don't press in between this step, but we're doing it just so I can show you how this is done correctly. So lay the two pieces. They should be exact. Right sides together. 1/4 inch, top and bottom, little triangle, you're going to see. Slide it over nicely. It should go right in between the needle and your 1/4 inch line. Just so nice and straight. Finger press it to the dark. Ooh, this one's going to be really nice. I like this with the gray. Looks really nice. Bring out your next piece. Right sides together. Keeping that little diamond at the top, little triangle, as you can see, your 1/4 inch. It's what makes the block line up. And if you cut them just right, you followed the instructions in my last video, then they should all line up every time. Don't force the material through, just let your machine take it through. Press it to the dark, just a little finger press for now. It's kind of hard to do it with the extension table, but laying it on the board where it's nice and flat, and just run my iron down that middle. Add a little bit of steam if you need. I try not to distort the block in any way. And there we go. This one looks really good with the gray. I like that. It'll look good with the white too. So again, if you need, see, like this end came out great and this one has just a little tab over. When I'm finished making all the pieces, either that will hide in the 1/4 inch seam and or I'll just trim it down to size. Because something happened in the stretch because everything was cut the same. So again, just lay this out of the way. Let's do another one. This one's going to get a white. That's going to be super cute. Look at that with polka dots. So I'll move these two out of the way while I piece the first pieces. Right sides together. These are going to get pressed to the dark, so these will be pressed to the polka dotted fabric so that that white doesn't have any dark in it showing through from the bottom. Put this piece on. And it should just line right up. Line straight down. Pressing it to the dark. I'll give it a little bit of an iron, just for video's sake. Take our pieces back over, make sure we have them correct, just like this. See? They lay just right. So we'll attach this side first, right sides together. Oh, and I just realized I had comments this whole entire time I didn't know, guys, so I'm so sorry. Let me check out what everyone has to say real quick. Okay. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Diane. Nice setup. Yes, it's nice having it in the house. I wish it could stay in the house. It's bias edges that make it. Yes, with diamonds, it's a lot of bias edges. Very, very tricky to work with, but I actually just, I don't know, the look of it makes quilts amazing. Hi, Gigi Lou. Other colors you're using, quilts will be stunning. I'm working with both black and white prints now. Still for curtains for your sister-in-law. Well, good thing. Black and white curtains are actually amazing. I have black curtains in my bedroom and throughout our whole house, except for some dark gray ones in our dining room. Tracy. You guys are talking to each other because I didn't know I didn't know anybody was watching. I'm sorry, guys. So you guys are in Texas. Well, I'm in Arizona. Everybody should know that. Hello, Terry. And okay, guys. I'm sorry, I didn't know I had viewers right now. So yeah, I have a thing for black, white, and gray quilts. Modern quilting is my thing. If you must know, I am 100% into modern quilts. So again, I'm pressing to the dark, just being very careful as I press. I'm using my fingernail, that's what that sound is you hear. And then flip it to this side, put the other one on. Does anybody have any questions while we're here? And now that I know I have people watching, so you are looking at me from my tablet, which the screen is away from me, so I can't see it. So that's why I brought my cell phone here, so that I can see the screen, but I didn't see nothing popping up, so I didn't know there was actually people watching because it wasn't doing anything. I guess I have to actually press the comment button. I guess I should know that for next time. I'm not very computer and smartphone and tablet. My brain don't work that good. I can quilt though. The technology is not my thing. Tracy, I'm glad that my video is helping you. This is definitely more for advanced quilters, but if you're following along and I'm describing it as best as I can, it actually isn't that hard to do. I mean, it's just when you're first doing a quilt, in this series of quilts, since I'm making 4, number 2, the quilt number 2 will be the simplest quilt. So I'm not going to tell you what it is. We just know that it's made out of 5-inch squares, but it'll be the simplest of all the quilts made in the series of 4 quilts made out of black, white, and gray. For now, I started with the diamonds because the diamonds had the better, I don't know. I wanted a quilt for my bed, and plus I need something for the quilt show this year, so that's going to be this. This will be my personal quilt going to the quilt show first. So here we go, the black and white polka dot. And if you ever have this where your stitching ends up in there, if you look on the back, you can actually pull it right back through. Sometimes I go through and clip all that. I only brought a small little, I have my little trash can that goes in my bedroom in here. So let me give you an idea of what we're working with here. So you can see my bed behind me, so we'll stand up and I'll lay some of these out so you can see. Alright, so this is just the blocks I have, no particular order. So they will sit like this. And when they sew together, they will be sewn together in rows. So this is what we got going on so far. I don't know if you can really tell from the camera, but, and my bed has pillows in it because I sleep with pillows in between me, but this is the idea of it. So there'll be every other, so another, you know what I mean? It'll be, start with 1, and then it'll be 3, and then it'll be 5, and then 7, 9, and then it'll go back down as it comes back in. But in reality, they'll all sit, so like if this is the bed, they will all sit coming up and down. So this is how they'll sit, which I think looks really awesome. So let's do some more. And what I did was I made just a big huge pile. As you can see, here's my big huge pile of all the pieces. I put 2 long ones and 2 short ones with every piece, so I'm just getting whatever I pull, because when I go to organize it, I'll throw it all on the design wall. Yes, I'm going to be entering into my local quilt show this year. I'm going to definitely enter this one, diamonds. Maybe number 2's quilt also, but the other 2 are just going to be lap quilts from the 4 that we're making. 2 will be lap quilts and 2 should come out queen size. So this should come out the biggest though, this one. So here we're going to do this one. Move these out of the way. Right sides together. Make sure you have that little point right here. It's hard to see. You have that little point. Make sure you have that little point there. That's how you know you got them exact. And you slide them over. Pressing this to the dark. Remember, it stretches. But straight flush line. If you didn't align those 1/4 of an inch, you won't have a flush line. You'll have something that has shifted. Right sides together. Yeah, this is going to have no Y seams. Sewing them in the diamonds in rows when we get to that part of putting the quilt together, because I have like 90 diamonds to make, and then a couple to make on the outside. We're gonna make, when it gets put together, it gets put together a little bit differently. It's hard to explain it without having it in front of me, you know, like being put together. But when it does get put together, row one will have one colored block. So it'll have one colored diamond. So row one will start with one of these, but it'll have two solids, because outside the whole quilt will be black, white, gray, black, white, gray, black, white, gray, all the way around. So each tip will be a black, white, or gray coming off of it, another diamond, but a solid at 6.5 inch, 6.5 inch diamond, just like this, but a solid, and it'll be off. So row one will have the two diamonds on the outside, and then row two will be two regular ones and one other. It's hard to explain it when it's together, but it'll just, when I get to it, I get to it. For now, we'll just make all the diamonds so that I don't confuse anybody. But when they lay out, there'll be no Y seams. I know how people don't like Y seams. I don't like Y seams at all. I can do them, but I don't like it. Okay, and then you lay them on here, just like that. Right sides together. I gotta say it every time. And the little magnet thing that I have on my sewing machine to keep making sure that, because of the angle of everything, to make sure that I'm at 1/4 inch, the little tip that comes out of this magnet lifts up the little piece. It finds it and then it holds it up and out of the way. So that's why I never worry about cutting off my little dog ears. The only time I really cut them off is if I'm having to piece a bunch of pieces together, like making star points. Then I clip the dog ears, definitely. And I love my little snips. I told you guys that in plenty of my other videos. My little snips and my Singer rotary cutter is my favorite. And then I have these also, nice thin pair. I was trying not to do any clipping because I don't want thread all over my carpet in my room right now. It's bad enough I have to take all this down so that I can have the littles back over tomorrow. And when I say littles, that means kids that I watch. And just lay it on there nicely and it should go right. So using your fingernail to press things first before ironing keeps you from distorting the diamond. That's why I'm really highly recommending you finger press out of the way first, because once you lay it on your board, you won't have any distortion of your diamond, which you do not want, because distorting it will ruin the size of the block and the way it lays when you go to put them together. So you definitely want to finger press them first. And you can add steam if you need to, just to make sure. And there we go. Look at this one. I love this one. It's awesome. I'm so happy with the way this is turning out. I'm probably going to have to cut more solid diamonds, but that's a good thing I saved the pieces I saved and put them aside. Let's do a white one with black. So what's everybody up to? It's probably nighttime for most people in other areas. It's 7:42 p.m. here in Arizona. What's everybody up to? What's TQMQ? I'm not used to the little, what is it called? Oh my God. What's a TQM quilt, Diane? I'm not used to the little sayings that people use, or the little words. I know I free motion quilt, but everyone uses FMQ, so I learned FMQ. but I am totally not up to the lingo. It's because I don't use the internet, or I don't use online stuff very often. Find a modern quilt, not sure if it's the patterns, fabrics, or a combination. Modern quilt, Diane or Terry, or anybody that's watching and needs to know, modern quilt is a little bit of both. It's something where you're not using an old style pattern, for one, and old fabrics like Civil War style blocks and stuff. Those would be older. Modern is more strip piecing. Strip piecing, stack and flip quilts. It's very simple, using the jelly rolls, using layer cakes. People that use those kind of things, those are modern. Those are things that they didn't have back then when we used to cut with scissors and make our blocks, you know? So a modern quilt, by definition, would be something made with pre-cuts, probably. But for me, modern is also using modern fabrics in a more bright, cheery, modern-y, right now kind of look, you know? And that's how I would describe it. But anyone else can chime in on what they would consider modern quilt. But my own personal opinion, it's a mixture of the fabric and the way you're making it, the pattern that you're using. So pre-cuts typically would be considered modern. I pressed that one the wrong way. I do not want to see that black over in that white. Oh, the quilting marine, TQM. Okay, yeah, I made a whole entire quilt for the quilting marine for the veterans thing. I was the one that sent in the random all by itself quilt because I didn't have time in my hot garage to make just one block. I can't just make one block. I don't know how many other quilters out there are like that, but I can't just make one block. I have to just make a whole quilt. I don't know how to get that out of my mind that I don't actually have to, but my mind thinks when I start something, I have to just make it. I have to make the whole thing. So I just pieced it up. I put together some scrap stuff that I had and made a whole quilt for the quilting marine for the veterans. So I threw one together and sent it to him. So you got one of the packages then to make a quilt for the to put the pieces together then? Yeah, I watched him showing his brother-in-law how to make, that's weird, how to make a block. He did a pinwheel. It was actually pretty good. He did not know how to cut with those scissors, but you know what? He tried. I was pretty with the rotary cutter. He was very, very, make you want to squeal like, oh my God, he's going to cut himself. But that's okay. He at least made a block for the last quilt, number 32. And, yep, I think everybody needs to learn how to quilt. It's great for anxiety, pain relief, you name it. Yeah, I showed all my friends and family when he opened it live. I took a screenshot when he opened my quilt live because I had shared it with all my family that I was sending it out, you know. I'm going to have to press this out. But yeah, I showed my whole family first and I was like, okay, I'm sending this off for a veterans thing, for a secret sew. And yeah, my family was like, oh, well, let us know how that goes. And when he got my quilt. It seems like it took forever to get there too. From Arizona to Georgia, it seemed like it took forever, but no, I got there in time, I guess, and yeah, here we go. Yep, I was so anxious to see it, and once it came on, I paused the screen so I could take a screenshot, and I put it on my Facebook and shared with my family that he got it so that it can go off to a vet. So, yeah, I was very happy to do that. I actually have ideas of my own in my own head for things like that. Let's do one I haven't done yet. Music notes. Don't you like it? It matches my chest, right? A lot of people ask, so maybe I'll just tell you guys. This is all music related across my tattoos. And I had the saying across my chest is dream as if you live forever, live as if you die today. It's James Dean's saying. Because I have MS. So in my mind, I dream as if I'm going to live forever, but I live my life day by day. So I dream as if I'm going to live forever, and I live as if I'm going to die today. And then secondarily, all the music notes, I wanted I'm All Shook Up, an Elvis Presley song, but it wouldn't fit like at all. So I just told the guy just do whatever we could, and we put it all on my chest, and yeah. So this side I have an old record player, phonograph, and then this side I have a cassette tape because I grew up in the era of there were still records and the transition to cassette tapes. So yeah, I'm obsessed. I used to love listening to music all the time, but now I don't listen to it as much as I used to, but I still do. Usually when I'm quilting I have the radio on, but since we're in the house today and I have kids that have school tomorrow, so they're getting everything ready and themselves calm and content for school tomorrow. So yeah, just so all of you know, that's what one of my tattoos is. I have tons of them everywhere. But we're not here to talk about my tattoos, we're here to talk about quilting. Do any of you watching have tattoos? Just out of curiosity. Remember, we're carefully finger pressing because it's on the bias. Making sure we have that little triangle right at that end. So I use a Shark professional 1500 watt iron, and I love it because it stays on for so long. I don't like an iron that constantly shuts off like every 15 minutes. My other iron used to, but I stopped using it. Now it's just my extra iron. Just thought I'd share some of the things I love. So again, long pieces. This one's going to be super cute. I love these music notes. There's a black one with white music notes, and then this white one with black music notes. Super cute. Yeah, my oldest daughter, Diane, she has tattoos also. Once she got her first, which is a memorial tattoo for her dad because he died in 2006. Once she got that, she got obsessed. So me and her went and got matching mom-daughter tattoos. And then she went and got herself a little tattoo on her chest, and now she's going to go get a matching tattoo with her sister. So yeah. But she's my only kid that has tattoos other than my husband has tattoos and I have tattoos. I don't know if my boys will. Maybe. Sooner or later. And then my other daughter probably will. She really wants it, but she's afraid it's going to hurt. am I frozen? Oh, hope not. My screen is just loading on my end. Does anybody have weird habits while they're quilting? Like, I bite my lip sometimes. It's kind of weird. Does anybody else do weird stuff while doing this? I watched a lady at a quilting thing, and she was sitting there, and she had her tongue out the whole time. She was piecing stuff. I thought it was just super cute. She's just a little old lady, and she was piecing her quilt blocks with her tongue sticking out. Does anybody else have bad habits, like, maybe biting their nails or something? I don't know what's considered a bad quilting habit, but I do know that biting your lip and chewing on your tongue would be a funny thing to do while piecing. Yeah, Terry, I had, before I started quilting years ago when my MS was not as bad symptom-wise, but I had the shakes. Before I had the shakes, I actually did tattoos. So I went from tattoo artist / piercer, as you can tell, I pierced other people and tattooed other people, to my hands shook so bad that I stopped doing the tattooing part. Then for a while I was only piercing people, and that wasn't working. And after the shakes just got so bad, hell, I just there's our super cute music one. So yeah, I don't do any of that anymore. I picked up quilting and it actually helps. This eases my mind, so that's a positive. Yeah, I like that the milk quilting marine uses its only fabric, its only thread thing. But me, I can't exactly say that because I hate wasting fabric and well thread. I buy it by the big cone, so if I just waste a little bit, it don't bother me. But if I have to undo a bobbin because it didn't wind right and all that thread gets thrown away, that really OCD messes with me. So that's the only thing that I don't like about his saying, because I can't put it in my own mind not to throw something or waste. That was my last quilt that I made, making those hourglass blocks. I didn't want to waste anything, so that's why I used all those little itty bitty pieces up. That's what I want too. What you have, Diane, a Rowenta, that's the iron that my goal is. That's the one that has the little tray that it goes in filled with water. That's the kind I want next, more industrial size. Ooh, that would be cute, Gigi. A quilt block with needle and a thread, like sitting like it's being quilted with the needle sticking through the quilt block like it's being quilted. That would look really super cute. And there are some really talented tattoo artists out there these days that can make something like that look like it's popping out of your skin. That is a great idea. I don't have anything quilting related tattooed on me, but maybe in the future. You drink while you quilt? I don't drink. That's one thing. I drink water. But yeah, people bite their lips and all those other things. But me, I'm going to put gray in this one. Ooh, that looks good. I drink water. I don't drink any alcohol. I don't do any drugs like people do, the CBD and medical marijuana. I don't do any of that. I'm medication free right now. I'm supposed to be starting Tuesday for my MS medication. I chose all these years, 18 years of having MS, and I chose not to take anything for my MS. And I finally broke down and I'm doing it. I just had my hip injections on the inner joint with a needle that was like this long. It was more than 6 inches. It was huge to go all the way into the inner. And I have tilted hips with deep pocket hip sockets. So the needle had to go in and all the way back through so that they could put the steroid injection instead of on the outside into the bursa like most people get their steroid injections. I had mine go in to the joint itself because I can't move my legs very well. I can't cross them, standing, sitting, all sorts of stuff. I move around a lot so that I don't think about the pain, but mine's really deep in there. But sometimes I wish I did drink because it would probably ease things just a little. But I've tried alcohol. I hate beer. Oh, so gross. And wine, I guess it just depends on what it is. Like, I liked Malibu, which is a coconut rum, but that was years ago when I was younger. But to each their own, I guess. I don't drink though, so I know lots of people that do. I just don't. I never got into it. I kind of steered away from all that stuff. How I managed to do so, I don't know, but I did. I've had friends and stuff over the years that thought that they can get me to turn into an alcoholic. But it never happened. They could never get me to drink beer or anything. It's just gross to me. I don't know. I'm different. I found something I like doing, and this keeps me from thinking about stuff like that, I guess. Maybe people that do drugs, this is how we should convince people to stop doing drugs, is people that go into those clinics that are for recovery, they should quilt. Because then they would get over their withdrawals and stuff faster, and they'd be doing something productive. Yep. I think that would be a neat idea. So rehab shit for people who are going to rehab for drugs and alcohol and stuff, they should start quilting. I think that would be pretty cool thing to do. It teaches people to do something, or maybe even, I don't knit or anything, but knitting or crocheting and stuff, that kind of stuff would help people in those places. Or people that are in mental institutions even, they should do stuff like this, I think. I think it would help recovery. This helps me with anxiety, depression, you name it. It helps me with everything. It takes away my pain because I don't think about the pain. I don't take it away, but I just don't think about it, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, I have fibromyalgia also. And chronic pain syndrome. Unfortunately, the two coincide with each other. But having MS is pretty much the worst part because it throws those nerves off for everything else. So it gave me peripheral neuropathy and all sorts of other stuff to go along with it, which unfortunately causes more problems because I have seizures and stuff too. So it's like it's not a double whammy, it's like a 100 whammy. I got hit with all sorts of stuff, and the funny thing is I'm the only one in my family that has these problems. My dad has arthritis too, like me, but he also has heart disease and stuff, and I don't have that. They test me for DVT all the time, though, because we have heart disease on my dad's side, but it's not that bad. His is, but I've been fine every time. How do you suck your tongue? I don't get it. I can't do it. Yes, I like my idea for people that are in those kind of facilities. Even nursing homes, I think. Nursing homes should have quilt classes. Maybe I'll do that. Do a quilt class. Go around to the nursing homes and help all the people in those places do something, because everyone just brings them quilts. Well, what if we let them make their own? It's a sense of accomplishment and something they can pass down to their family from a nursing home. This one looks cute with the gray. What do you think? I like this one with the gray, not just white. I'm trying to mix the colors up here. More polka dots. I guess this one we'll put white with again. I still don't understand how you suck your tongue. I'm thinking about it in my head now, how to suck your tongue while quilting. So you're just maybe sucking your saliva from your tongue? Interesting. I bite my lip. I know quite a few people who actually bite their lip while doing all sorts of things, like while they're reading, they bite their lip. I don't think they realize they're doing it though. Yeah, after I finish all these quilts, these next 4, I want to do a quilt for my MS Foundation, the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. Our walks got canceled here in Havasu. We were having MS walks along the island, but the foundation ran out of money, so they can't do walks here anymore. So my family and I were quite upset, and I tried to do last year's, since last year got canceled, I tried to get it to be to where they can have it still, but I wouldn't have been able to raise enough money. So this year I think I'm gonna, for next year, I'm gonna make a quilt and auction it off to have the money to pay for us to have our local MS walk back and miss that. But that will be after I finish these next 4 quilts. I try to keep myself super busy with quilts. I have a ton out there that I need to get quilted too, but the weather is not going to permit me to do that just yet, since this is the machine I quilt with, until I can afford my next machine. Hello, Diana. Welcome. We are working on diamond blocks. Is anybody here actually following along, making a couple diamonds just to try it out? Even if you're just cutting it from some scrap fabric to make sure that you're doing it right? Let me know. That sound, my daughter came in, she actually does not like the sound of the rotary cutter, the blade against the mat. She says, oh my god, that sounds so horrible. It's like chalkboard scratching, fingernails. She doesn't like that sound. It doesn't bother me none, because I cut a lot of fabric, so I hear it all the time. Is there someone that can answer me, since I can't see the screen, how long? It's not telling me how long I've been on. Well, Diana, if you haven't quilted in years, you should start doing it. It's quite fun. Lots of new techniques have came out since. Ooh. In the last, I don't know, 10 years, they have pre-cuts now, which make quilting so much easier, especially for beginners. But there's still those people that, there's another one, we got polka dots, there's still those people who like to cut their own everything, and I am one of those. Although I do have layer cakes and jelly rolls and charm packs and fat quarters and you name it, I still prefer to cut my own. But then that's just me and how I am. Yes, it would. Like I said, I really want to do something for the MS Foundation to raise money for not just the awareness, but so we can have our MS walks back. I miss it, and I don't travel, so I can't go to the one that's in Phoenix, Arizona. It makes it hard. So unfortunately, I've had to skip out because I went last year, so this next walk that should have happened didn't happen. And I talked with the foundation members, and I could not get it to come back because I'm a big part of the community. So yeah, I've done quilts for vets, I've done quilts for the elderly, I did some donations already. I've done everything, but I haven't done it for my own cause. So soon I will be doing it for my own cause. Soaping. So you make your own soaps, Diana? You put your tongue in between your teeth. I still can't figure out how to suck my own tongue. I'll figure it out. I don't belong to any quilt guild, actually. I go to, I have a local friend that's in the quilt guild, and she's been trying to get me to come, and I don't want to sound or be odd, but I would be the youngest person there. And nothing against elderly, it doesn't bother me none. I wouldn't mind teaching the elderly. But some of the ladies were, I hate to say this out loud, but there was a couple of them that I met not last year, but the year before, they were snippety at me. And I don't like snippety people because when I talk, I accidentally cuss a lot. I try to hold back, but it doesn't happen. And my tattoos and piercings, it's like they don't want me around. And I don't want to feel unwelcome in a place that I'm making you know what I mean? Trying to be part of something. I don't like the feeling of being unwelcome. Now the ladies at my local quilt shops, they love me. So that's a positive. I don't have problems going to the local quilt shops, and they all keep telling me to put my quilts up there, but I have yet to do so. I'll get it done sooner or later. I have a couple things that I could probably take up and hang at the quilt shop just to do it. But yeah, I haven't joined the guild yet. I want to because I want to be part of it, but then I don't want to feel left out or pushed aside because of my alternativeness of myself, of who I am. I don't like to feel that way, so that is the only reason why I am not part of the Quilt Guild right now. I don't like to feel like everyone's staring at me, like you are, staring at me, but that doesn't bother me. I don't know. It's just a weird, it's a vibe that you get when you go somewhere. So you don't want to be part of a quilt guild that you don't feel the right vibe from. And the only other local one is an hour drive away, so I don't travel, which makes it hard. But I might join. We'll see what happens. It all depends. I am going to enter the quilt show though, because I'm going to enter as a non-member, which I'm allowed to do, which I just found out I can do. Yeah, I actually have some of my work for sale on Etsy if you want to, when you're done watching this, Diana. When you're done watching, or what, I don't know how kind of device, if you're on a computer or something, I have an Etsy shop with like 12 or 13, maybe 12 quilts for sale on there. They're just baby ones, a couple big ones and lap quilts, but mainly baby quilts that I have for sale over on that. I gotta sell them to keep making them, that's the thing. And I've sold some already, some custom ordered ones too. My Etsy shop is just pre-made quilts though, but they're there for sale. Look at that, my iron is still going after all this time. That's what I love about this thing. It's still on. Kind of backwards compared to how I have everything set up in my garage. I'm not used to being in my bedroom doing this. These are so adorable. I am loving, this is going to be such an awesome quilt. I'm going to be so happy to have this on my bed. I'm going to have so much fun quilting it too. I don't want to go overboard though, because my husband doesn't like heavy quilting and I don't like heavy quilting. So I'm going to have to come up with something that's a little bit of in between, or maybe just an edge-to-edge design or something, you know. But yeah, this is going to be super, super adorable. Ooh, let's do it gray. Trying to squeeze some of these out of here so I can get some of these other colors mixed in. So here's gray with feathers on it. Super adorable. Making sure I'm laying this out right. Yep. Yeah, the quilt shop. Okay. So taking my quilts to the quilt shop. The quilt shop ladies have already asked me to bring, they love my quilting. They want me to quilt for other people, but I was waiting until I got, instead of using mid-arm, I wanted to have a long arm so I could have more space, because the limit, I know I can do custom feathers and everything in my quilting with the long arm. the space that I'm allowed with this machine compared to with a 18-inch throat machine is what I want, which fits on my frame, would make the difference whether I quilt for other people or not. So that's one of the options the quilt shop wants me to put my quilts up so that they can see my quilting. And the second option is so that they, if someone wants it, they can buy it from the quilt shop, and then the quilt shop pays me. So I have to get that going, but I just haven't taken nothing down. I wanted to take something more fancier down there so that people come to me for quilting, because I don't only long arm or mid arm, I free motion quilt also. So, but I don't do that as often because it hurts me. My sewing spaces, since I'm stuck outside, makes it harder to free motion quilt big projects as to where I just go on my long arm and get it done, you know. Ooh, I like this one. I'm glad I chose blacks, whites, and grays. This is going to be such an amazing quilt. Like, very modern and color style. I just hope it turns out the size that my brain sees it that way. I don't do math. I didn't ask anybody this time to do the math for me, so technically I have no, like, I have a general idea because I've done diamonds before of how big this is going to turn out, but see, now here's one that didn't come out right because I'm talking and not paying attention. This did not line up. Now I can fudge it a little, you know, but it'll get caught in the quarter inch seam, but that did not line up. So you see that right here? So when I lay it against something, see how far over that is? I'll probably just fudge it in there because I don't want to rip it out. I didn't bring much extra stuff up in the house for this project. So that's where diamonds gets a little tricky. Give that some steam so it sits flat. So yeah, that's over like just a little. Oh, it's talking. Yeah, Diane, the goal for me, excuse me, my goal is, you'll have to Google it. It's the Juki 2200 QVP. I have a Grace GQ frame. It fits up to the 18-inch machine. So all I would need is the machine head and the wheels itself. That's all I need. But it's the Juki 2200 QVP. That's my goal machine in my goal price range. Unless I find something cheaper, but I want an 18-inch. I had found a couple Grace Clinique. I can't even say the word. Clinique, yeah, Clinique machines. But they're only 14-inch. They have a 15, but I wanted the more space, the better, so that I can do all over really good stuff. And then the Juki 2200 QVP is also available to do computerized. So if I ever want to switch to computer stuff, even though my mind would go lost, if I ever did want to or need to for mass producing, you know, quilting for people, if I started quilting for others, then I would need something computerized so not everybody's getting whatever comes from the head. And the funny thing is I just randomly picked all this up one day 3.5 years ago, well, almost 4 years ago now. I just started quilting in it. I don't know, I picked it up so well that I just doing amazing with it. I would consider myself a beginner in some points because I can't explain things, and I still do mess up. Everybody messes up. Even people who have been quilting for 30 years mess up. But I'm an advanced beginner, I guess, is what you would call it. The thing that keeps me in the beginner mode is I can't do the math at all. Like, I get lost. Yeah, that's probably my thing that keeps me. Yes. This one really, ooh, some of those feathers actually lined up. Some didn't, but some did. Still gonna be adorable either way. And you can't even tell I had a little boo-boo in this one. Look at that. Isn't that adorable with the feathers? See, they lined up. Some of them did. That one kind of did. That one kind of did. That one just has a stem, but sort of. So it looks okay. It's not horrible. All right, guys. Aha. Okay, so I have been on. It says I've been on an hour, so I guess I can dig through here and pull a gray one out, so we can make something gray with real quick, and then we'll give up. So we're gonna do this one. Well, I ain't gonna give up. I'm actually just going to turn this off after this block. How's that sound? So let's do black or gray. No, we'll do black one with this one. The next time I come across this material, I'll use a gray and then a white. Mix it up. Definitely need chapstick and water this whole time. I'm not used to talking the whole time I'm quilting. Usually I'm just sitting in the garage and listening to music. Sometimes I sing, sometimes I don't. When I do, I get dry mouth bad. Alright, just reviewing, guys, making sure that we have, I don't know if you can see this very well, making sure you have that little bitty triangle on each side, your 1/4 of an inch worth. It's literally slips perfectly from your 1/4 inch line to your needle, the end of your needle, making it so easy to piece diamonds. Like, seems complicated when you first try. Trust me, my first couple tries were the hardest, but after I did it a few times, it was so much easy. It just seemed like it went quick. And now I fly through them normally. When I'm not talking like this, I do. I like this live thing. I like conversating with people. I should do it more often. Plus, I like teaching, so. For me, this top, depending on the weather, if I end up stuck back outside doing this, it'll probably take me a week to get all this situated and together and the top pieced. So probably a week to have this whole thing. But this whole pile I could have probably done by midnight, because that's how fast I am. If I wasn't talking to anybody, I would have this done by midnight, piecing. I'm usually pretty fast, and you know how the machines have the little, the rabbit for fast and the turtle for slow? I keep it on the fast rabbit. So normally this is me, but it shakes my table too much, so I can't go that fast. That's normally how fast I go. Plus it's kind of loud, and there's other people in the house, so I'm trying not to be too loud. But yeah, I'm pretty quick. You should see me when I do charm square blocks and layer cake quilts. I'm way fast with those. I don't know, I work fast and I still pay attention so that I don't mess up, which helps, but I'm usually pretty quick with this stuff. Since this is diamonds and I have to design it, you know, and put everything on the design wall and add the other pieces, and I want it to look right, I'm giving myself a week to make sure that everything turns out the way it should, you know. So finger pressing, that way it comes to the iron nicely. I just press from the top only. I don't even have to flip it around because all the seams should be laying nice and flat. And there's this one. So I'll move the chair out of the way. Bye, Diane. Alright, so Let's lay some of these out again. I'm going to unplug the iron real quick. Let's try this again, and then I'll bring it over and show you all. The general idea of this. So I'm not going to worry about the color placement too much right here because I'm kind of just trying to give you guys the general idea of how this works. There. There. Aha, okay. All right, we're going to pull the camera down, and you'll see around. Don't mind my messy room. Okay. So this is the general idea of it. So like I said, my guesstimate on size is going to be 95 in width and 105 inches long. Because remember, I'm making like 90 of these. So it should fold over the side. This is a queen bed, so it should fold over really, really good. It should come out king size, honestly. But this is the general idea of how they get put together. What do you all think? You like it? So this is what we're doing here. Obviously my colors will get spread out better when I go to lay it out on the design wall. So yes, this is the general of it all. Hope you guys like it, and we'll turn this around real quick. Again, don't mind my messy room. So this is where we're at. Thank you. I realize this is going to be a very awesome, pretty, modern quilt in blacks, whites, and grays. I'm going to love it. I'm going to love it on my bed. It's not even together, and it's just highlighting everything. Yes, Terry, I can't wait to see it. I see it in my head finished, but seeing it once it's done and quilted and on the bed, yes. And I already have the idea for the backing fabric. I'm going to do a pieced backing, not two-pieced, but to where it's going to be black, white, and gray also, so I can reverse it. I'll probably go buy some more fat quarters and put them together funky and have a reversible quilt. That's just in my head, though. I might not. Never know. So I thank you all for joining. I'm going to get through the rest of this big, huge pile here, and I'll just probably keep laying them on my bed so I can see how it's going, and then I can count how many 6.5-inch diamonds of the solids that I'm going to need to go all the way around. But I'm going to love this. This is awesome, and I'm glad I've got people to join me in doing this, and I'm hoping that if you're making this too, that you have as much fun as I am having making this and loving it, especially with these colors. This color way with the black, white, and gray, I think is showing it. It's giving it like life, and I love quilts with life. So yes, genius. So thank you guys for being here and hanging out with me for I think an hour and whatever it said on my tablet. On this I can't see, but on that I was able to see hour and something. Enjoy quilting. If that's what you're doing today, have fun, and I'm going to enjoy what I'm doing the rest of the day. And thank you guys for joining me. I'm Tiffany, Tattooed Disabled Quilter, and I will see you next time when I'm putting these together, or still piecing. Just depends. So we'll see how fast I can get it done. But next time I come, we'll be putting these together somehow. So thank you. Talk to you all. Bye.